Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Bring Your ETHDenver or any event on-chain with Attendance NFTs webinar. We're going to go through a number of things over the next few moments here. We're going to talk a little bit about what is Unlock Protocol and why does it matter to bring events on-chain. We're going to talk a lot and do some live demos on how to send attendance NFTs using Unlock Protocol. We'll talk about what the event organizer experience is. We'll talk about what the attendee experience is. We'll talk a little bit about the types of things you can do if you actually do bring an event on-chain with an attendance NFT. And then we've got some other additional things as well for folks who want to stick around. If you are setting up future events, you can actually do the whole ticketing experience on chain as well. So we'll do a quick tip into that for folks who want to see that, and then point to a number of different resources and guides and such that we have as well. I'm your host today, Chris Carfy. I'm the COO at Unlock Protocol. Been around a number of startups, been with big companies, and have been with the Unlock project since the end of 2021, come from both engineering and marketing background. If you have any questions during or after, you can certainly reach out to me directly. I am at ccarfy on all the things. And any questions you have regarding Unlock and Unlock Protocol, at Unlock Protocol on Twitter/X. There's a channel set up on Warpcast as well. And of course, you can jump into our Discord and we'll have a number of different resources there as well. And as we're going through, if you do have any questions, definitely feel free to jump in the chat. I'll try and answer those in line as well. What is Unlock Protocol? So just going to start with a very basic background on the protocol itself. So Unlock Protocol is a system to fundamentally, it's to create memberships and sell subscriptions on chain. And those are technically manifested as NFTs. This protocol, it works for memberships, subscriptions, ticketing, token gating, certifications. We're seeing a ton of certifications getting created with Unlock over the last month or so. It's an open source project. It's been around since 2018, was founded by Julien Genestu, who founded Superfeeder, which was sold to Medium in 2016, and a team and a global community that comes from a variety of both technical and non-technical backgrounds. The use cases, as we mentioned before, there are a lot of different ways that folks are using this concept of memberships and subscriptions. So event ticketing, recurring subscriptions, time-based memberships, and this is really a big one and a unique one. So if you don't want somebody to, if they have a token or a ticket or a membership, to get access to benefits and perks forever, but instead you want to do something that's like a monthly or a yearly or similar type of, epoch-based membership or subscription, you can do that. Certifications we talked about, we're seeing folks do things with gaming and loyalty programs and such. Today, we're really going to talk about things in that event space, though. So we're going to talk about event ticketing and attendance NFTs. And in particular, we're going to talk about attendance NFTs. And these are commemoratives for individuals who have attended an event, and these commemoratives are held and created and minted on chain as well. So zooming back a little bit, why do we want to bring events on chain at all? Well, for I think most of the folks who would be looking at this webinar, and in particular with things like ETHDenver coming up next week and the other big sorts of tentpole events throughout the year, we're all building tools, we're building solutions, we are trying to bring things on chain, yet still see a lot of folks doing their events and such not on chain, which just intuitively doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. We all have the responsibility to really walk the walk and use these tools and use these solutions that we are presenting to other folks. And we want the space to succeed. And to succeed at scale, we need to show other folks how to do this. And we need to show these kinds of use cases. So within the Web3 events space, Unlock is the standard for this. There have been dozens and dozens of past events. There are going to be dozens of events at ETHDenver. There are events coming up at South by, DAppCon coming up in Berlin later this year is going to be using Unlock for its ticketing and such. So if you're thinking, how do I bring an event on chain, especially if it's a Web3 event, Unlock is the way that you do that. So let's talk about attendance NFTs. And we've had other types of webinars that we have done in the past that are around ticketing and such. We're going to talk solely about attendance NFTs today, though. So an attendance NFT is a token that someone has in their wallet or in their possession, shows that they attended a specific conference or a specific event. It's a way to keep that tether, keep that connection with that attendee, and be able to use that to keep the vibes going after the event as well. You can celebrate and reward community members who were actually there and in the physical space. And there are a lot of different ways you can get those to folks. They can scan a QR code at the event proper. You can airdrop them to an email list of attendees that you have, especially if you did your ticketing offline. We'll talk about that in a little more detail. Folks can claim it to their own wallet. They can claim it to email. There are a lot of different ways that they can do this. We did this when we were at ETH Global New York in the fall of 2023. And it was great seeing people who were in attendance saying, yeah, actually, attendance NFTs, among other things, are really sort of the best swag ever. They don't take up space. They're really easy to pack. You can show it and share it online. And these, again, are ways to start building community around events, because since these are on chain, and we're especially starting to see this in things like Warpcast and some of the other Web3 social platforms, you can see tangibly and tactically and provably if someone was at an event, if they have an attendance NFT and they have, they have chosen to claim it. So this is a really good way to start building those connections and building those subgroups online based on who's actually engaging at these various events. So one of the things that we are seeing is also, as folks are just starting to really embrace bringing things on chain, there are a lot of folks who did events with Luma or with Eventbrite or Partiful or things like that. And it's like, well, okay, kind of messed up. We'll do the next one on chain and we'll ticket it on chain the right way. But for this one that we did, can we still do attendance NFTs? And this is one of the question that we get a lot. And yes, you absolutely can. And that's actually going to be a lot of the conversation that we're going to go through over the next few moments here. If you do have an existing event, even if you did it with something like Luma, no worries, it's good. We got you. It's okay. And can show you how to set up attendance NFTs for that. So what we're going to do now is actually, I'm going to do this without a net. We're going to go live here, and I'm actually going to set up an attendance NFT. And then what I'll do here is share things in such a way that folks can see what's happening, and hopefully be able to claim it yourself as well. So what we're going to do is, let's say we had an event. It was Narwhals 2024, and we want to set up a page with an attendance NFT for folks who were at Narwhals 2024. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get out of presentation mode, and I'm going to jump over to a browser here. And the path there are a number of different ways that you can do this. I'm going to show sort of easy mode here. If you go to, at any point, if you go to events.unlock-protocol.com, and again, that's this URL that's right here in the bar. That will take you to a page here and you can fill out a quick form and then you can get into the experience from there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, take sort of the easy mode experience and then I'll show you some of the behind the scene things as well. And setting up the attendance NFT is effectively the same as setting up the event ticket. They're both NFTs, they're on chain, they have a visual representation. And so it's pretty straightforward to do. So what I'm going to do here is, this is, we've got a page set up here and I've got some sample copy set up. So let me share some of this here. So we've got the Narwhals 2024 proof of attendance NFT that we are setting up here. And for our description that folks will see, we're going to do this for folks who were there. And we're going to put a cool image on this one as well. And so we've got that one right there. And this is what our attendance NFT itself is going to look like. I'm just going to make up a date. I'm going to say it was the 21st of December this year. It started at noon. It went until 5 o'clock. It was in LA, 90210. Sure, it was in Beverly Hills. And it's free, obviously. Let's say there were 100 and we can change this later and I can talk through some more about that as well. But again, name it, give it a description, make sure you've got some art for it. We're not going to do it on Ethereum mainnet. For this demo, I'm going to do it on Gurley. That said, you can do this on any of the dozen plus, I think we're up to 15 or 16 different networks that Unlock supports today. Most events we're seeing getting set up either on one of the chains like Arbitrum. And actually, if you are doing things, just want a quick side note here, between now and middle of March, actually going to be doing retroactive funding for projects that do build on Arbitrum. And if you have at least 50 folks who have either attended your event or gotten a membership or gotten an attendance NFT, you may be eligible for part of that retroactive funding. And feel free to reach out afterwards. We can share more about that. We're seeing folks building a lot across the Optimism superchain as well. So Optimism, so OP mainnet, Base, and the other ones as well. Polygon, we see Gnosis and many others. Again, this is a demo, so I'm going to do this on the Gurley testnet here. So we've got the name, got the description, image, we're on the network we want, we got the date set, we got the place set. We're going to say there were 100. Again, we can always change this later. It's free to get an attendance NFT. And so we're going to say create. So I do a quick signature over here. And as soon as I do that, hopefully all goes well. And what is happening here is Unlock Labs, the organization I work for, has created a front end that integrates with and uses Unlock protocol. And what is happening is it's reaching out to and using Unlock protocol. It's actually creating and deploying the smart contract for this particular attendance NFT. It's pushing it out onto Gurley. And then also what we're going to be able to do now is we're actually going to be able to look at the page that has been set up for this attendance NFT. And again, all of this has happened in real time here as we are looking at this. I'm going to prettify this page a little bit more, and I'm going to upload an image. And I'm going to say I've got one here. If you are doing a landing page like this, if you do it around 1400 by 300 plus or minus, as far as the aspect ratio for that image, that should give you something that you can work with there and looks pretty decent. And so at this point, we have done all of the setup that we need to do. And so at this point, you can do something like if you send anyone to this page, they can claim it, and they can claim just with an email address. The proof of attendance NFT will show up in their email. And what's happening magically on the back end is Unlock is actually setting up a lightweight address for them. You can sort of think of it as a lightweight app-specific wallet that is the place where that NFT is getting dropped. If somebody has their own proper wallet or their ENS, they can put that in there as well. And this proof of attendance NFT will drop right into their wallet as well. And so for sharing this with folks, we can do a number of different things. So we've set things up, and that is really the experience as the organizer. I'm going to show one more quick thing here, which is I'm actually going to go into the more detailed dashboard that we have. And so what we saw there through setting that up was sort of the easy mode experience for setting up events, setting up attendance NFTs. We've got a more detailed dashboard as well, and you can control almost every aspect of the smart contract from this dashboard. So this one that we just set up is right here. And if I go in as the event organizer, I can see all of the different details about this smart contract that I set up. I can see the supply, I can see price. Obviously, there's no price because it's an attendance NFT, but I can get into a whole host of other types of settings as well. May come back here in a few minutes when we talk about airdrops and such, but I just want to make sure that folks knew that all of this set of tooling was out there for you as well. So for the attendee experience, what we can do is the following. So let's go back and let's go look at that page that we just set up here again. Cool thing is most of the modern browsers, if you have if you've got a URL, you can go and for most of those, you can go in and you can do things like share and create QR codes for the URL itself. I'm going to jump over to Brave here. I'm going to go to that same page. And so anybody who's on the call right now, you can go to that URL. I'm going to drop this in the chat and send that to everybody. So you can go there directly. Another thing that you can do though, and this is a cool, fun thing in various browsers. And again, I know I can do this in Brave. You can do it with Chrome and the others as well. If you go to the share thing, you can actually create a QR code. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab this thing right here, this QR code for this web page, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go back into the presentation here. And just for giggles, let's see what happens when I put it here. So now anybody playing along at home and anybody who may be watching this on the replay later, if you come to that QR code right there, and you should be able to, if you can get your phone at the right distance from it, I'm actually going to try it from this side to make sure that I'm actually doing what I say I do here. I've got my phone about 6 inches from the screen, and when I do that and I just look at it with the normal phone camera, it will take me to the page where folks can claim that NFT, and you should be able to do the same at home as well. So folks can claim this attendance NFT themselves, and they can self-claim by going to that web page that I put in the chat. They can claim via this QR code that we just set up as well. Can also be airdropped to attendees. And I want to talk through this as well. So I'm going to go back to kind of big screen here. And if you want to airdrop these proof of attendance NFTs to participants, you can do it a couple of different ways. And so I'm going to show you, again, both the easy way and then the sophisticated way, and then take a quick breather for a quick second, and then we'll go into some more details. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to show how to airdrop these proof of attendance NFTs to the folks who may have checked in at your event as well. So if you are the event organizer, again, from your event page here that you set up, that we had set up together earlier in the demo here, you've got a couple of controls. You've got an attendees page, and these are for folks who have claimed, if you will. And then you've got a settings page and you can do things. And then you've got a bunch of other tools that show up for you here as the organizer as well. We're going to do the simplest thing possible, which is go to that attendees page. Nobody has claimed any of these yet. And so what we want to do is we actually want to airdrop an attendance NFT to someone. And so I want to go through, I'm going to do an airdrop. And again, you can do this either to someone's wallet address, you can airdrop it, or if you don't have their wallet address, that's fine as well. You click note wallet address and you can put in, protocol.com. That attendance NFT, the proof of attendance is never going to expire, so you wouldn't change that. You're going to send one. You add the recipient, and then it's going to say who's this going to, and it's going to ccarfy at unlock-protocol.com. And then if I hit confirm airdrop here, it will actually send an airdrop that to my wallet for me. So that is how you can do it as a single, one by one. You can drop your attendees that way. We have the ability to do a bulk airdrop as well. We've actually got a CSV template, and I'm going to walk through this in the context of doing this for a Luma event in just a second here, but you can airdrop up to 50 of these attendance NFTs to folks at a time as well. And so the way we do that is as follows. So jump back over here. And before getting into the details around how you do it in bulk, just want to talk through, okay, so once folks have this, they will have gotten the attendance NFT either in their wallet or in their email. And at this point, you have a tether to these folks. You know who they are. You can spiff them next year. You can give them a discount to next year's event. They can use that attendance NFT to get access to a Discord or an online community. You can use that to get into another after party or event or things like that. They're all really, your imagination is the only limitation on what you can do with those attendance NFTs for post-event engagement. And any of the ways that you would want to stay connected and keep the vibe going with your attendees, you're able to do so as well. So I want to go into how you would do things if you've already done an event, or you have a ticketing event, or you're doing something at ETHDenver this year, and I did it on Luma. Next year, you'll do it the right way, but that's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to do the folks at the door the way you have been, but then you want to be able to airdrop proof of attendance NFTs like the one we just set up earlier to the attendees. And so the way we do that is you would go again into that tools section of your dashboard. And in that tools section there are a bunch of different things you can do. And one of them is airdrop, and you will have already set things up the same way we did in the demo. So you've got the image, you've got everything all set up. You've done some things. I'm going to show one more quick thing here before I dive into that. As you are setting things up for your event, one of the things you definitely want to do is you want to go through, and let me drop back here. Let's go back to our event setup page here for this attendance NFT. And Scarlett, I will answer your question. Just a quick section here. Scarlett asks, how much does it cost to airdrop? So someone needs to pay the gas. It's going to really depend, since this is an on-chain NFT. Someone needs to pay that gas. If someone is self-claiming, it's going to depend on what chain they are on. If it's on one of the chains that we've talked about here, so either Optimism or Base or Arbitrum, or the other very, very inexpensive chains, Unlock Labs is actually footing the gas on those. If you are airdropping them yourself as the event organizer, you'll pay somewhere between 1/10 of a penny and a penny per airdrop as the organizer on whatever chain you're on. So if it's on Base, you'd be paying about a penny or so per NFT today, and that's probably going to go down significantly in the next month or so. There's a thing called EIP 4844 that's coming online that should, but it should drop the gas costs for these L2 chains by about an order of magnitude or so. So it should, by the end of March, be more like 1/10 of a penny or 1/2 a penny max. But you would be paying that as the event organizer, and that just gets paid from whatever wallet you have attached to the browser that you're using to set these things up. So switching back, when folks are sending out emails and when the attendance NFTs are going out into folks' wallets, one of the critical thing you want to do is you want to go through and you want to make sure that you're putting your information in here. So, I would want these in this case, you know, I would want these to make sure that it's coming from me, not from Unlock Labs. So specify this, because that way, when people get this in their inbox, they have a higher certainty that it's actually from you, the conference organizer. And then also, if they hit reply or have any questions, the replies will go back to you in whatever you set in the reply to here, and not come to Unlock Labs. And you're welcome, Scarlett. I'm glad the question about gas answered your question. So the things that you want to do when you are sending those out, let's go back over here now, is you're going to airdrop those keys, and you're going to grab, we've got a template for sending things in bulk. And again, if you go to that airdrop link right here, you've got 2 tabs. Manual is what we saw before when I walked through. Bulk lets you do up to 50 at a time. And so you would download the CSV template. That CSV template is very straightforward. This is an important bit though, because there's a ton of flexibility in here. If you're doing airdrops in mass, there are 3 fields you absolutely have to fill out. So count, this is how many attendance NFTs this person is going to get. Set that to 1, because you're just going to send 1. What email address you're sending them to, and if you pulled this out of Luma or somewhere else, you can just drop those in there. And then you have to set either the expiration date or never expires. For these, just set everything to true. And you absolutely, again, have to have these 3 fields. You have to have the count, you have to have the email address, and then set it so that attendance NFT never expires. Just set true in there. And once you have that set up, you can then take that and drop it back into the page right here. You can do it again in batches of 50, and that is not an unlock constraint. That is actually a blockchain constraint. The blocks can only be a certain size, and the most number of drops that they can do in a single block, the way things are set up, is around 50 right now. So anything more than 50 will get skipped. After you do that, the system will say, okay, here are the people we're going to drop to. Is this right? You hit confirm. And then at that point, those will get airdropped out to those folks, and they will start getting those emails right away. So that's why I took the brief digression to make sure that the return address on the email is set to you. So that way, if there are any questions from the attendees, you can get that. We do have a guide set up, and especially if you are using Luma, if you go to unlock-protocol.com/guides, you'll find a whole mess of different guides, but there's a particular one out there on how to walk through and do your export from Luma and such. So I'm going to take a brief break right there just for a quick second. I'm going to check the chat. If you do have any questions on things, definitely feel free to drop them in there. Otherwise, that is really the end of the program for how to do attendance NFTs. I just want to do a quick walkthrough as well, just as you're thinking in the future, if you are setting up your next event itself, and you might want to do your ticketing itself on chain, it's almost the exact same process for doing that. Again, ticketing is a critical part of bringing folks on chain, and you're able to really get some interesting community dynamics going, as well as some of those other benefits that we talked about with respect to giving people access to future experiences because they have gotten their tickets on chain as well. So I'm just going to skip through this. We do have actually a full entire webinar on that. And so at this point, it's really over to you all. If you want to see some more of these types of things, this should be a link to the guide that is sort of a written counterpart to this webinar of how to do attendance NFTs. And if you scan that, and again, I'm testing it myself here with my phone, and yes, indeed, it goes to the right place, which is good, which is our unlock guides site, which can answer more questions. You can always refer back to this. We will have this replay up for you all in just a few moments as well. And with that, let's go. If you are doing an event and you've already ticketed it off chain, this is something you can do today. If you have an event in the future, obviously it would be great if you ticket it on chain, but even if you don't, this is something you can do. If you have other meetups or get-togethers or hangouts or any of those types of things, this is something that you're able to do. And with that, do want to open it up to Q&A. So if anybody does have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I will scan for those. And thank you all very much for taking some time out of your day today. Again, we will have this recording up. And CP, thank you very much. And question, does Unlock have any plans to support Solana? Great question. So Unlock is an EVM and Ethereum virtual machine-based protocol today, which means it can support pretty much any chain that's in the Ethereum ecosystem. Unfortunately, Solana is not EVM compatible, and so it is a significant lift to redeploy the protocol to Solana at this point. That said, it is an open source protocol, so if there are Solana devs out there who want to do that, you can certainly take the code that's there and work on a port to Solana. That would actually be fantastic. That said, even without the event being on or without the protocol being on Solana, you can use any one of these, and most of these Ethereum L2s, again, Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, and the like, are very, very, very affordable. So there are a lot of different options out there. And so with that, thank you again all very, very much. Really appreciate your time and your questions and your engagement. Feel free to reach out again if there are any questions. You can go to unlock-protocol.com. You can reach out to me at ccarfy on any of the things, and we will see you on chain. Take care.